I'm John, and tonight I want answers about Don't Ask, Don't Tell in the tragedy in Tucson. There's no stopping us now because we're live.
Give John answers.
That almost worked.
John wants answers.
That's what glitches work out.
Give John answers now.
If it were perfect, it'd be like, you know, one of them Persian rugs with no mistakes. And then I think it's the end of the world, as I recall. That's why they always put one mistake when they make a Persian rug.
Check your calendars. If it says January 13th, 2011, then we're live. Assuming your calendar is correct and it gives you one particular date and you know it's correct. Because every month...
There are more caveats.
You tell me...
I could give you more, but I've given up on that.
Finally, you've given up right when I had you, I thought. So, welcome to the show. My guest tonight is Keith Stattenfield. Keith is...
I want co-host.
You want co-host?
I want co-host as my credit, because I'm always here.
You're the...
I mean, if there's someone who lived at your house and was there every day, eventually you'd stop calling them your guest, and you'd start calling them your roommate.
But we have different roles.
But in a heterosexual kind of way for us, because you're married and I'm living with Loretta.
Yes.
And so we wouldn't, in fact, be living together.
Well, we could live together, but not like...
Well, we couldn't, because Loretta would be upset.
Yeah, beyond that.
And you'd drive me mad.
But, you know, if someone's never seen the show before...
Probably. That's probably a good guess.
Then they'd know... Well, let me tell them. This is like a courtroom drama. It's like I'm the prosecutor, and you're the expert witness.
Yes.
So we can't be co-hosts.
We can't be co-hosts, because that would be improper.
And the viewers at home, they're the jury.
Yes.
And the topics are on trial.
Okay,
so
the
our
topics
jury,
are on trial.
Our viewers at home will then decide whether to convict or acquit.
I'm thinking Docs is the judge. Who's Rusty the bailiff?
That'll be Jim.
Jim, you're Rusty the bailiff.
Thanks. Okay, so my expert witness tonight is Keith Stattenfield.
Man, I should get paid like an expert witness.
They don't get paid, do they?
They get like $2,000 a day.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be a good business to be
I wish
in.
I was smart.
You're the host of Keith Explains.
I am the host of Keith Explains.
Where you describe a wide variety of topics.
Yes.
In a funny way.
I think so.
And by funny, usually it's because you lie.
Yes, usually I lie.
But on this show, you don't lie.
On this show, I don't lie in any way that you can detect.
We have a policy of you not lying on the show.
You have a policy of me not lying on the show. Yes. That's correct.
Your show is on Wednesdays at 8:30 on KMVT 15. Yes. You're my expert tonight because you are a news junkie.
News junkie.
History buff.
History buff.
And philosophy major.
I am a philosophy major.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, well, I got the computer science major, and that's mostly what I work with.
Oh.
But it's fun. I am a fully qualified fry cook. Just based solely on the philosophy degree.
Really? I've been there. Before I entered college, I was a fry cook. Okay. We'll be taking your tweets. So, during the show, or even during the month, you can tweet us at John Wants Answer. See, there's no S at the end. It's John Wants Answer, because the last S is for suck. But the first S that's still there is for super.
I like how you added the during the month. Because people
don't
tweet us during the show. This extends by another 30 days-ish the amount of time people cannot tweet us.
About 30 days.
Yeah.
I went to a session that describes, hey, not all months have 30 days, etc. That's how alarms don't go off.
Yeah. Oops.
Since you're on the internet, ready to tweet us, why not go to Facebook and become our friend on Facebook? Go to facebook.com/JohnWantsAnswers.
I don't think they actually become our friend. I think they like your page.
Oh, they like me. They like me.
They like the page. No, not you. They like the page.
Oh, they like the page.
Right. It's you like pages, you friend people.
Okay. So please like my page. And while you're still on the internet, because, you know, go to johnwantsanswers.com. It's our website. We've got links to all the shows. You can watch our first show, our last show. We have bios of our guests.
That's me, mostly.
Learn all about Keith. And our musical guests, we did have
musical guests. They were very good.
Drury and then Jonathan Mann.
They were great.
Our friend Scott was on the show once.
Man, I wish I knew how to play an instrument.
Yeah. And we have funny pictures on the website of me. When I first saw my funny picture, I laughed for a minute. I couldn't stop laughing.
Wow.
It was like one of those heaving laughs, like, when one of those laughs.
Wow.
Hilarious.
You should see a doctor.
No, it subsided. True story. My doctor is the guy who makes me laugh the most.
Wow.
He's my high school buddy. Now he's a medical doctor, so I call my doctor.
Yeah.
Nobody says anything to me. I say, oh, my doctor says I have to do this. Yes.
You don't actually see him as a doctor, though. So it's not like someone you went to high school with is saying,
I once-
turn your head and cough.
I once asked him to
John.
look at something and say, is this infected? Well, it wasn't here, but, for example.
Okay, was it
So he
somewhere?
kinda was my
Was it somewhere you'd be embarrassed to point to? Because I wouldn't do that. If I'd be like, I'll just pay some other guy.
Alrighty. So I mentioned Scott just earlier. This is a quote from Scott, who is a semi-professional TV watcher. And about our show, he said, "This might be the best TV show I've ever seen." I'll read this every month until I get a better one.
Yeah. Might is a fabulous word.
It can mean anything. Normally at this point of the show, I tell you about all the things that Keith said wrong the previous show. So today I was, watching the show, right before the show, instead of working. And I didn't see any lies that I could tell.
You didn't hear any lies.
But there's one line that you said after repeat, because it's hilarious.
Okay.
Do you know which line this is?
No, I forget this show when I'm walking out of the studio. This show is already a distant memory.
Children are lumpy.
Children, okay, children are lumpy.
That's
I don't
why
know
you don't.
saying that. Why would I have thought children were lumpy?
Because that's why you don't frisk them at the airport.
How?
You don't take them for bombs because
They're lumpy.
They're
Well, especially
lumpy.
the little ones. Yeah, really small children are in fact quite lumpy.
yeah. I thought that was pretty funny, so I had to bring that up again.
I wonder if childrenarlumpy.com is taken.
Please don't get that
The
URL.
pity is normally, like, someone could actually buy that domain before I have a chance to buy it
'Cause
after
people
the
watch-
show is over.
people watch this
Because people are
live.
watching this live.
People at home
I could get
are
home
going
and
to be
discover that
registering
someone
this,
else has
Too late.
childrenarlumpy.com.
Okay, enough of this banter. Our first topic, don't ask, don't tell. We had to rehearse that all night long.
We did. It was very timing-horrific.
Don't ask, don't tell. Briefly describe what is don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask, don't tell is a set of military policies enacted during the Clinton administration, which changed the previous policies and laws for people serving in the armed services before Don't Ask, Don't Tell passed. Homosexual conduct or intention was immediate grounds for dismissal from the armed services. After Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the intent of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which was a set of policies that were put in place by the Clinton administration, was that the military service wouldn't try to find out whether members of the military were homosexual, and at the same time, members of the military wouldn't reveal to essentially anyone that they were homosexual. And the idea was that if they kept it to themselves, it wouldn't hurt anyone, and it would allow them to serve in the military and would be okay for everyone all around.
So there'd be no investigations, whether you're gay or not.
There'd be no investigations unless the military had a reason to think some, right? It's Don't Ask, Don't Tell, but the moment the military, it was still
If someone told,
considered grounds for discharge if someone was homosexual. And so if the military got a credible report from a third party, or if the military had a credible reason for believing someone had said they themselves were homosexual, then the military could investigate, and if they determined or decided that they believed that this person was homosexual, they could then discharge them, because it was still not permissible. It was still not permissible to be in the armed services and be homosexual.
was this a step forward in gay rights from the previous
It was
policy?
perhaps a step forward. It depends on who you ask. I mean, it wasn't much of a step forward, because if you are a gay person and you're in the military, the only way you can stay in the military is to essentially not be a gay person in any way that anyone else could notice.
You can still be gay as long as no one caught you being gay.
But that's hard,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of other people around, and
Right.
eventually someone might catch you. And so the only way to stay in the service and be gay was effectively to not be gay.
Not be gay. So this was enacted in the Clinton administration.
Yeah, like 1994 or something.
So I recall Clinton was in favor of gays serving in the military. So why
Clinton, when he ran, had said that it was his intention to get rid of the policy that said you couldn't be gay in the military.
So why did he sign
there
this
was
policy?
Well, there was a lot of backlash in Congress. Congress tried to put legislation in place, which before that, all of the stuff had been policies of the military. And military policies are essentially passed down from the head of the military, which is, in a sense, the president. The president could change those policies at any point in time. He's the commander-in-chief. There are rules about how he can change them, but he stated his intention. I want to get rid of this policy. He started we're looking to rewrite it. We're going to come up with new rules. Congress, or at least a majority of Congress, as it eventually turned out, passed a law which they attached to a military spending bill. The president can't override laws. Well, George Bush can, but most presidents can't override laws.
Can't they veto laws?
Well, he could have vetoed the entire bill, but the bill funded the military for the entire year. So you really can't easily veto that. And I think it passed with enough votes that they could have overridden his veto anyway.
2/3?
Because the bills that fund the entire military tend to be really popular amongst Congress members.
So
So
just recently in the news, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed.
yes.
Did that happen through Congress?
So
or
that happened through
Barack
Congress.
Obama?
First, the House passed a bill to essentially repeal it entirely about 10 months ago. It then went to the Senate. The Senate took it up after the November elections in what's called the lame duck period. Senate talked about it a fair amount. There was a threat of a filibuster. The filibuster didn't happen because more than 60 senators indicated they would vote against allowing a filibuster to happen. So it proceeded, and it got more than majority. I don't remember what it got. It got 50 some odd votes to essentially repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. The Senate actually changed the bill a bit, so it had to go back to the House. The House had to pass the same bill that the Senate had passed.
After
That bill
repealed,
repeals Don't Ask, Don't Tell, but it repeals it after the military administration decides that they know how it'll be repealed. And then after they've kind of stated, here's the policies that we're going to put in place, here's the policies we're going to do for repealing it, there's then like a 2-month period, and then it finally takes effect. So Don't Ask, Don't Tell legislatively has been repealed.
but you can't enlist.
But
gay people
you
can't
still
enlist right
can't enlist as a gay person, as an openly gay person right now.
now. If they repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell, do they go back to the old policy?
This actually supersedes the old policies.
So then there'll be no policy. Or I guess the bill
There'll be a
has-
different policy. The policy will be that it's permissible to be homosexual. There are certain things you can't do. Still, you can't hit on other people in your units. Heterosexual people can't do that either. You can't engage in certain conduct, on base when you're on duty. I don't think they allow gay members to marry each other.
Okay.
Just because the federal government doesn't recognize gay marriage at all.
Does the federal government recognize marriage?
Straight
Is that-
marriage,
It's
yeah,
a state issue, right? Not a federal issue.
That's correct. But the federal government doesn't recognize gay marriage even in those states where it's permissible.
So during Don't Ask, Don't Tell, if some guy wanted out of the Army, couldn't he just say, hey, I'm gay?
He could. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't.